So we're going to try the functions and area of a circle program now. So sticking to the the skills that we've learned, make sure we put in as much internal commentary as necessary. So the first thing that you have to do is define a function. So how we do that is we say def, and then we give it a sensible name that we can call. So these are user-defined functions and procedures that we're going to talk about now. That's how we define any function. And inside these brackets, that's where we put the parameters. Now, our area of a circle, all we need in order to calculate the area of a circle is we need to know the radius. So if we type R there, that means that the programmer can send any data at all to this function, and it can return the area of a circle. And what we can do next is create a variable. Now this variable only exists in a function, and it's called a local variable, so we'll just use 3.142 as pi, and hopefully you guys know that we times it by the radius squared, so this is one way we could do squared. And then for a function we have to have a return statement, and this a here would be the return parameter. So let's put some internal commentary to make this a little bit better. So calculate the area of the circle, and then return a as return value. Now if there was no return statement, this would be a procedure, and because we need to return a value, it has to return the value of the calculation. That's why it's a function. So that's how we would then define the function. So this part here is the end of function definition. So we can then use that function as many times as we want, and we can do print area of circle, and then in the brackets we specify which value, which radius we're going to pass. So if I run this program and save it first, task 11, functions, area, circle, hopefully no errors. And if we see down the bottom here that it calculates that as 40, can't see it for the side, let's scroll up, 3.142, which it should be because 1 times 1 is 1 times 3.142. So we can change that to any number we wish to use it again and again and again. So we could even use it in other variables, and have calculation equals area of circle 5, and then print out calculation and use it the same way as before. We can use it in conditional statements, so we can say if area of circle 10 is bigger than 100, print this is a huge circle, else print this is a small circle. So we can use it anywhere in a program. So let's see if it is, so as a huge circle, let's see if we change it to a 1 this time, it'll probably tell us that this is a small circle. So we can use that function again and again in a program without having to write that calculation ever again, just using our function. We could also then have the flexibility of saying to the user, radius input equals input, please enter radius, calculate the area of a circle, and for that one we're going to have to convert it to a float. Excuse me. and then call our function. So print area of circle, checking my spelling, with radius input, mention the brackets. We can do a print before that to say your circle of radius, comma, radius input has an area of. Now hopefully you guys will notice what error we have here with radius input, if it does. So we'll do radius 5. So your circle of radius 5 has an area of 78.55. I thought I was going to get an error when I printed out the float here, but because we used the commas to concatenate rather than the pluses, it worked out okay. So I'll just actually do that with pluses just to show you what errors we can get just on our string outputs. So if we do 5 again, you can see that it can't convert float to string. So if you find yourself getting those errors, either use the commas to concatenate, but really we should be doing it with the pluses to concatenate all the strings together. So we have to convert that to a string. So this actually won't change the functionality of the program, it just is a different way of outputting strings. So your jobs to do on this are to create a small test table to check that various lengths are calculated correctly. So basically think of some inputs, you do the calculation and test that it works correctly. And you have got 2 further programs to create. You want to create a program that has a calculate area of square function. Now you could just add that to this program. Now what you want to do is for the second task is to include the calculation for calculating the number of kilobytes in a black and white image function. So you've got to think about what parameters that will need for a black and white image to be calculated. And then task 3 is to create the menu system for it. So try and do that yourself before watching the instructions for how to do that. So area of a square, obviously we know the length and the height are always the same for squares, so I'll take in length. And we can actually just do the return statement straight away. We can just do length times length and forget having this calculation. We can just do return straight away. So we can do set return value to length squared. So that's one way of doing it. If you did it similarly to the area of circle, that's perfect as well. Now we don't normally do this end of function definition, but I'm just putting that end of function just so people realise that the code only exists in this area, that anything you declare in there is known as a local variable, and this is a parameter. So that will be the area of a square, so print area of square 5, and we'll test that this one works. So 5 times 5 is 25, so that appears to be working. Function, so def black and white. Now this is where I have to think about the parameters it needs, because we need length in pixels, and we need the height in pixels. So I'm going to use a few local variables for this. I'm going to say the area equals the length pixels times by the height pixels. Bits is equals to the area times by 1. Now the reason I'm doing times by 1's the colour depth. We could easily make this for any colour graphic just by using another parameter there. Bytes is equal to, now I can't use bytes because it's a restricted word. Total bytes equals bits divided by 8, and kilobytes equals total bytes divided by 1024. Now I want to do return kilobytes. and I'll take out this print statement here, and then I will do print black and white, and I'll do a 10 by 5 image, which is quite small. Invalid syntax, what have I done wrong? Let's see. Oh yeah, I've got no brackets around my print statement. Total bytes is not defined. That is because I used a lowercase b here and here, so I've got to keep the name consistent. So you can see that it's an incredibly small number of kilobytes for 10 to 5, so let's try something a bit bigger. 100 by 500. So 6.1 kilobytes, and again this is where a test table would be useful. Now the next part you have to do is present a menu to the user, which is quite tricky in order to call each function. So the functions are defined there, and what we can do is get rid of the print statement there, and what I will do is print enter 1 for area of a circle, print enter 2 for area of a square, and then print enter 3 for kilobyte calculation, and then I'll have choice equals int input, please choose 1, 2 or 3. Now I won't put validation on here, but you should. And we say if choice equals 1, then we're going to call our area of a circle function, so area of circle, and then brackets. Now remember we need a radius there, so we can then say radius equals input. I'll just convert that to an integer as well, just to make life easier. Input enter radius, and then we can do print area of circle of the radius that the user chose. And then we want to say else if choice was number 2, then we want to use our area of square function, so length equals int input enter length of square. And I'm going to cheat a little here. I'm just going to copy my print statement from here. I think something's happened to my indentation there, so let's be careful. Print area of square. We want to pass the length as that parameter. Now if they didn't choose 1 or 2, that means they must have chosen number 3. So we will use length in pixels equals int inputs enter length in pixels, height pixels equals int input enter height, spelling correct, in pixels, and then we want to call that function as a print. So print black and white, the length p, and the height p. Now you'll notice that the variable here is called height p, which is different from here, which doesn't matter. These are two separate pieces of code. This is what I've called it outside the function, and then within the function it's going to talk about that parameter as if it's named height pixels, and that's perfectly alright. Now hopefully you noticed that I forgot to put the brackets on the print statements, and I'm lucky I did it before I ran it. So these will all function now with a menu, with the exception of my invalid syntax, which is actually because I missed a bracket on the line above, which was causing those earlier errors with the formatting. So if we choose 1, enter the radius, before it prints out the radius. Now the only rubbish thing right now is if we want to use function 2 and test that that works, which it won't because I've written inputs, which should be inputs. But we have to run the program each and every time We want to test that it works, and again have to run it again here just to test option 3 works. So if we do 500 by 100, we should have the same answer as before, which looks great. Now we could use a conditional loop around this, which you should do as a challenge to see if you could only get to stop when the user enters choice 4. So that should help you do all of the extension tasks on that, and then I'm giving you a further extension task to have a while loop that repeats this again and again and again and again until the user enters choice 4.